Hi, I'm Roy Murphy. You're watching the Bitconnect YouTube channel. Coming up in today's video, how to back up your Bitconnect Qt wallet. Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Roy Murphy and you're watching the Bitconnect YouTube channel. Today we are talking about security. And in this instance, specifically, we're talking about the Qt wallet. So if you don't know what a Qt wallet is, we will show you that shortly. But in the system, you do have the Bitconnect wallet. And in another video, which we'll stick in the link below, we will show you the reasons why you should not keep your Bitconnect coins in this wallet. But let's look at the site security to start with. So there are areas within the site where you can actually secure everything much easier if you activate some of these areas here. So we have two-factor authentication. So what this is using Google Authenticate, which is an application you can download for free from Google. You can either have that on your desktop, your laptop, or on your smartphone, and this will be a secondary window where you use an authentication key and it will give you an authentication code before you can log into the system. So I would recommend that everybody enables that. There is also a code card to increase your security further. It's a system where you can print out a code card and keep that by your side for every time you log in, so people can't do it remotely. Login Shield is activated within the system anyway by default, and that means that you have to actually sign in via the IP address and the browser and device with your location already authenticated. So when you first log in, it will ask you to authenticate before you can remove any BCC tokens or any Bitcoin. You can also revoke access over here if you change IP address or you move house or you've been browsing, say in a coffee shop or a cafe. And this is very good also to keep activated at all times. So nobody who logs in from any other computer or IP address can actually log in and take any money. You also have links here for login history. You can change your passwords here, and you've also got login notification. This is disabled by default, but if you enable this, this will give you an email or an alert every time you log in to make sure that no one's doing it whilst you're away. So these are the different methods you can do to increase your account security. But over here, if we go back to the dashboard, we don't want to keep anything in the Bitconnect wallet for the reasons I mentioned earlier. What you do want to do is keep it in a Qt wallet. So let's go to the Qt wallet. Now this is downloadable from the Bitconnect website at bitconnect.co. Now, the way that this differs from the platform variation of the Bitconnect wallet, one is that this is on your local PC. So you can have this on your laptop, you can have it on your computer at home, and you can have everything stored in something that was physically there on your system. Now, the benefits of having the Qt wallet is the fact that you can actually stake, you can earn interest just by holding money within the wallet itself. So we've gone through another video before on how to use the Bitconnect wallet. So if you go to settings and actually go to, mine's already encrypted, so I've already set a password. So you need to encrypt your wallet. So click the encrypt wallet area. You'll create a password, so this is the area for changing that password, and then you will also have, once you've enabled that, if you log in and use your passphrase, you will then be able to unlock your wallet. So mine is now currently unlocked, and if you go down to this area here, you can see that the key at the bottom, if we click off and then go to the key at the bottom here, and it says wallet is encrypted and currently unlocked. So if you go over to the area here, it will tell you that you are staking. So this is active staking based on the amount spendable within here, and then every so many days, after 15 days maturity, you will start staking and earning 7% per month interest. If that's compounded over a year, it adds up to about 120%. So you want to keep all of your money within the Bitconnect system. So if you're not moving it straight out into Bitcoin, I would recommend downloading it into a Qt wallet. So what is a Qt wallet? So Qt is actually a software platform. So if we go to Wikipedia, there's actually more information on the wiki page than there is on the Qt software download website. So there are free versions of the Qt software and there are paid versions for professional developers. So Qt is a cross-platform application framework that is used for developing application software that can be run on various software and hardware platforms with little or no change in the underlying code base, while still being a native application with native capabilities and speed. So what this means is that it uses a single programming language to write an application, and then there's an export feature which natively exports it into anything that you like. So you may want to build some kind of app where that application, you may want to launch it for Windows, you may want to launch it for iOS, you may want to launch it for Linux, and you may even want to do it for Android. So if you use that, this is an easy way of creating multiple variations of software, and this is how the Qt wallet is spread for different types of operating systems to be able to download the same application, but you write it once in one piece of code. So if we go to the program language bindings, you will notice here that Qt uses standard C++ with extensions. So what that is a programming language. So if you click on C++, you will see that C++ is a multi-paradigm, procedural, functional, object-oriented language. So it's a general purpose programming language that was invented in 1983. And when I started writing code, I started with VB.NET. Well, actually started with VB6 many moons ago. And then I also learned C at university when I did my original bachelor's in computer science. You start to learn, one of the first things they do is teach you C, and then the object-oriented versions, the applications where you can build on top of it, is called C++. And that is the basic code base for any serious programmer would learn C, and then variations from then on, whether it's VB, whether it's .NET, whether it's C++. Later on, I moved over to PHP and different kind of open source systems. But this is an overview of how the wallet is made. So if you go to the actual Bitcoin website and you go through, if you look at the source code, you can actually download the raw C++ code base for Bitcoin, and you'll find that most of the cryptocurrencies that are out there today are based off of the original Bitcoin wallet. And all they do is they change the front end, they change the GUI, which is the graphical user interface, change the color scheme, change some of the figures, so it would be the payout rate, the amount of total coins within the system, and they'll just launch it. So it's very simple to edit and change. I've done it myself many times. I've created different coins just to play around with, just to see, understand the system. If you want to understand properly, dive deep into the code and you will figure out how that works. So the reason why security here is so important, and the reason why there could be an issue with the Bitconnect wallet, is when it comes to backing up your wallet. So for an overview, if we go back to my history, we'll actually see that this is a copy of my drive on my PC. So I've got a local drive, so this is where my operating system exists, and it's only my operating system and essential files that are to do with the daily running of the system. And I've also got backup drives, so I've got exogenous drives. So this is actually an SSD, it's a 220 gigabyte SSD, and it's only solely for the operating system. Now it says 116 gigabytes because 4 of that is dedicated to the actual boot sector and the startup features of the program. So I also have this music and pictures, so it's all of my images and all of my music which is backed up. That is split into 2 virtual drives on a 1 terabyte drive, so I have all my music in this area here, and if we go back I also have my pictures, all of my images going back, and they're all secluded into year by year. If you go back in history, so if you go to this year, you can see everything is then split into subfolders. So why am I telling you this? Well, there is a very valid reason. Other hard drives which are exogenous to the main operating system is sites, and these are sites, these are websites that I've been working on, or these are backups of programs that I'm writing. So that is something that will run as an application from a PC because it also acts as a server. Torrents is an area, it's another virtual hard drive where anything I've been downloading that's ready for review and needs coding and needs breaking down and moving into the right sections means you can tell I have kids, can't you? Captain Underpants, Fireman Sam, mixed in with a bit of Game of Thrones. So yeah, living the dream. So if we go back to this PC, and there's a video area, so this is where all of my media lives, and you can see there's a Bitconnect section there. We also have a list of movies that are in there, and it's all alphabetical. So if we go into Bitconnect, we can see that all of the videos that we create for the YouTube area, so the final versions go into this area here. And if we go back to Bitconnect and go, so when we do the original recording, it goes into recordings area. So these are the original recordings as I read them before editing. And if I go back again, we've got the render. So once I've played around with the audio and stitched everything together, the output, so the last video is still in here. So that's ready to go up live this evening. So that needs to be edited. All the intros and outros need to be added to it, which are in the promo area. So we've got the the intro area and the outro needs to be stitched together. So this is the area for keeping my Bitconnect video history in line. And then you will also see, if you go back, now this is the most important one, there's this one here which is my Z drive, which is a dedicated 800 gigabyte storage drive. Now the reason why I have a zip drive, if you see, it's only used for backing up. So this is a security measure. If I go to my backup area, all of my pictures, all of my history, everything I've got on my other drives automatically gets duplicated and sent over to the backup area on my Z drive. Now I also have, under blockchain for instance, now here is a backup of my mnemonic text, and now this is for my Bitcoin login. So many years ago I lost lots of Bitcoin, and when I say lots, this was in maybe, I think it was February 2012, and at that point I had over 900 Bitcoin, and I had everything on a local downloadable Qt wallet, just like exactly the same, apart from the GUI, the graphical user interface of the Bitconnect wallet, the Qt wallet. So the reason why is because I actually deleted a drive with all of this information on. So this is my backup mnemonic text, and this is the mnemonic for me to be able to log into the website where I have web-based wallet. And if for any reason I forget my login details, I can use this to actually log back in and actually reset my password. So that's really important. So I made one of the biggest security boo-boos of my life by using this software here. It's called CCleaner, and I've used it for many years to basically just clean the system full of all the junk that you get every day. And this is the area where you do that. You'd analyze and then run the cleaner. And then there's another area where you do clean your registry, so it goes through your registration files and make sure everything's hunky-dory there. There's a tool section where you can actually uninstall software, you can actually change your startup functionality, you can actually enable and disable things that are, when you install software, things start up for no reason, and if you don't need them starting up all the time, it just uses resources, so you can use this area to delete those there. Browser plugins you can enable and disable. There's a disk analyzer, so you can actually analyze your disk depending on which drives you select. There's a duplicate finder, a system restore area, and a drive wiper. Now most people, if you have a Windows PC, your local drive will be C, and you can see that up here you can wipe free space only, which is highlighted by default. Now when I moved from Cyprus back to the UK in 2011, this is where I made the boo-boo in February of 2012. I had rebuilt the PC prior to this one. I tend to build new PCs every 2 or 3 years, and they're usually pretty awesome around about the time that I build them, so I'm due for another rebuild now. But to cut a long story short, I had selected a drive which I wanted for pictures that I had reclaimed, which was pretty new and hadn't had much use, and I wanted to build it as part of a network system, so I'd actually selected that there. What I hadn't realized is that by default the top one had also, see now it's actually telling me it's an SSD and it is your C drive, do you want to continue? Well actually no, I don't want to, so let's uncheck that. But by default it was checking your drives for free space only, but I wanted to format one of these hard drives so I could use it for a different function. So I'd actually checked the free space only and actually selected entire drive, all data will be erased, and again by default my local operating system drive was highlighted, and all of my Bitconnect backups, even though I'd backed them up, were on that drive. So if you ever want to use any kind of disk analyzer, drive wiper, or you ever want to format a drive, make sure you understand what is on there, what is backed up, and what is essential. And also we have Bitconnect. So if you look at the Bitconnect backup, so this is on my backup drive in case my computer blows up for any reason. So you can see you've got the Bitconnect template, which again is available, so we will go through that shortly. There is an updated version, so that's quite exciting. The spreadsheet backup, which is my daily reinvests, that gets backed up once a week to this area, so I don't lose too much if I do. The main version is on my desktop. The Bitconnect demo is what I use for demonstrating, and then I have the miner, so if I want to mine Bitcoin, all the mining details are in there for the mining pool that I use. And then we have the backup, which is the backup for my Bitconnect. And this is a DAT file, this is an information file, which if you downloaded a fresh Qt wallet with no information on that PC, you can grab this data file and it's as if it was never disappeared in the first place. So let's show you how to do that. So let's get rid of this drive and we will go to our Bitconnect Qt wallet. So if we go to settings or file and we go to backup wallet, it will ask you for the destination. So I want to put it in my backup drive, in my Z drive, under Bitconnect, under backup, and you can see my historic backups there, and I do it by date. So let's do it by today's date, and we do it in reverse order so that the bottom one is always the newest. So if I say 2017, and it's the 10th month, and it's the 12th. So this is the following day. Click save, and all you're doing there is you're backing up all of the information, all of your transactions, and most of all your spendable account, and you are putting that somewhere safe. Now that's one thing, but bearing in mind that I have actually deleted a whole drive before. When you think that I've worked in the data security industry for 20 years, I've had some pretty big boo-boos when it comes to personal security with certainly things like Bitcoin and Bitconnect. I haven't done it with Bitconnect yet, but I've learnt my lesson. I've been bitten. So if we go to, oh yes, so this is the blockchain area. So this is where I keep my wallet here. This is at blockchain.info. And when I logged in, now this is a different occasion where I've actually lost Bitcoin. I lost 900 Bitcoin in 2011. And I also lost Bitcoin at the end of 2013. I actually set up with my office, I had 130 developers working for me, and I convinced the CEO that he should get into mining Bitcoin. And after convincing him after a few weeks and showing him what I was doing with my mining, he then invested in a Bitcoin miner. And it was the best you could get at the time. I think it was about $2,200. And we bought it as a company, and because I mentioned it, I actually was able to use it through the company and use their electricity. So there were about 12 of the developers all joined in, and I was maintaining and monitoring all of the transactions, and I was doing all the technical behind the scenes areas. I made the Excel spreadsheet so everybody could track everything in real time, and I put it in the cloud so that everybody could log in and see exactly what they're earning over a period. It ran for about 6 weeks. I think everybody made $3,000 or $4,000 each for, I don't know, a $50 input. And then we sold that machine on eBay for about 4 times what we paid for it. So everybody did really, really well. But because I was using so many people's logins in blockchain, I thought that I should raise my security. So I changed my password, and I changed it to a really, really stupidly strong password. It had exclamation marks, strange figures, capital letters, lowercase mixes, it had numbers, it had everything. And there was about 25 different units within it. And after that, I forgot about it and left it until I tried to log in about 3 or 4 months later to move it somewhere else, to actually cash out. And then I realized I could not figure out what on earth my password was. I know the beginning of it. I think it started with a number I don't normally use, and it had a couple of my kids' names in, and then it had something else that was really, really random. And then it had some numbers and exclamation marks, and it had my army number and something else in it. So it was so convoluted. To cut a long story short, I could not for the life of me figure out what my login details were, and I lost that because I've never been able to log in under that. So I've actually had to create a whole new login for blockchain in order to remember what on earth I'm doing and where my money is. So again, don't make things too secure that you can't remember, and if you do, you know this is the reason why I now have that file with my backup of my backup in. My mnemonic. Yes, so in that one I actually lost about 60 Bitcoin. So I lost 900 Bitcoin in 2011, and in 2013 I lost another 60 or so. So I'm not doing too well. So this is why it's so important that you back everything up. There you go. That's my little lesson for today. Let's look at the brand new updated Bitconnect calculator. Now, if you haven't seen, there is actually a dedicated video that we've already done on the Bitconnect calculator, how you can track all of your payments in and out. It has your investments amounts, it gives you options for withdrawing and depositing, and it gives you the yearly expected area, it gives you your true rates against your principal, and it gives you some forward-thinking forethought as to how you're going to plan your exit strategy. There's also a projected area which we've updated as well. This is to use to create all of the graphs. We have our actual rates here, so you can see all of my history for my logins, and you can see the base rates and the true rates. It works out how much your reinvest should be, and then over here you have your actual amounts of your reinvest, which go through every single day. And then it also tells you your return on investment, your percentage return on investment, your base rates, your average payouts, and your average rates. And then we've also added some new things with the graphs. So we've added some new graphs. We've changed some of the fonts and made it a bit clearer so you can have it in full screen. So this is principal growth. So you can see black line is projected and the red line is the actual. So our projections are pretty much spot on. We've also added the reinvest timeline, where you have a comprehensive and a focused area for looking at your investments and your investment times and the amounts. Our daily reinvest area, so you can see how the history of your reinvest since you started within a system, how they're performing over time and how it's growing. We also have the 1 year principal growth comparison and prediction. So this is whether you use a daily reinvest or the interval reinvest feature within the system and how they compare over a longer period of time. There's also one for the comparisons and predictions area, and we've got the true rate comparison as well. So this is working out the true rate you get when you start reinvesting and compound everything. So all of these are available within the Bitconnect system, and you can see the silly numbers in the first year. I mean, year one here, 365 for a $2,250 invest. My yearly output will be $164,000, and then it gets really silly when you get into year two. So this is all available. If you want a copy of this, the way that you can do that is in the comments box below, or you can look at our video talking about our awesome Bitconnect calculator. So that's it for today. So if you have any questions, don't forget to stick it in the comments box below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And my name's Roy Murphy. You've been watching the Bitconnect YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video.
This video was brought to you by Team Smurf. We bring you new videos each and every day. To join our team, click the referral link below this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and interact with us in the comments box below. Bitconnect, creating wealth for everyone.